And we are live. How's it going, everybody out there in YouTube land? Welcome to the very first episode of Blood, Sweat, and Indy Effects. One second, I'm going to have to shut myself up as I forgot to mute the YouTube section. So I was hearing my echo. Sorry about that, folks. I'm guessing you guys didn't hear it at least. But anyways, this is the YouTube show where we talk to some of the people that are out there being an independent effects artist and see what makes them tick. And our first guest is the very lovely and talented Rachael Croke. Rachael, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Doing good. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, so tell us in the audience, everybody in the audience, tell us about yourself and how did you get started doing effects and what sort of effects do you work with?
Okay, so I'm Rachael, obviously, and I'm 19 and I'm from Ireland, and I've been doing makeup effects for about 3 years now. I'm self-taught, and I mean, I've always been into horror. My brother was like my main influence growing up. Like, he'd sit us down and watch horror movies since I was like 4 or 5 years old, honestly, upwards. So I've always had a huge interest in it, but it wasn't until about, as I said, like 3 years ago, I started watching the show Face Off, and I saw Tate's work on there, Tate Steinsiak, and I was like, I want to do that. So I was like, here, who doesn't want to make monsters?
Of course, who doesn't?
Exactly. So I was like, I want to do that. So what I did, first off, I went in to my makeup kit and I got like eyeshadow glue and tissue and lipstick. And I started working with that. But I mean, I've always had, I've grown up with my brother, as I said, with all the horror influences there. And I mean, even he was a big fan of Iron Maiden back in the day. And Eddie was like, the monster and their like, signature monster that they had, like their mascot, basically. And I was like, oh, wouldn't it be really cool to like recreate him, So I was like, oh, I'm going to do that. So that's kind of where it all started. And since then, it's just been kind of like out of the kit makeup that I've been starting to do. And I've kind of just been trying to work on it and progress from there.
So what was that first out of the kit that you said you did with just those little lipsticks and whatever that you had in your kit already?
Yeah. It was like a little burn on my hand here. I kind of I had just worked on it with like textures and stuff, just trying to, experiment. It was the worst thing you would have ever seen. But I quickly, like, it was about a week later and I had gotten into making the homemade gelatin and everything. I went into town that Thursday and I was like, I'm going to do this.
Gelatin's one of the best stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it is when you're starting out. I mean, like, I still use it for like burns and stuff.
Oh, hey, even when you're still like, I'm like 3 years later, I'm still using gelatin.
Yeah, it's class. I mean, you can't go wrong with it, really. So
it's good for prosthetics and out of the kit.
Yeah, true. I mean, I use it for both. It's incredible.
So speaking of materials, what are some of the preferred materials you like to work with when you're doing these out of the kit makeups?
Yeah, so it depends on the makeup that I'm going for. With like gelatin, I would use that for mainly burns or making a prosthetic, as you said. I tend to use latex a lot, but it would be, different depending on it. I'd use latex and cotton, obviously, to, make different textures, or mix latex and flour to make a thicker consistency. And what I tend to do is, like, I have a life cast in my face, so I'd build up from it. As in, if I'd made the flour and liquid latex mixture, I'll like pile it on top and then kind of work around it and try and, make whatever I want to from there. Like, if I'm trying to
what does the flour do exactly? Because that's a new thing I've heard. I've heard people mixing oatmeal, like Tom Savini mixing up oatmeal and latex for texture. So what does the flour do exactly? Tell people in the audience.
It basically, because it's liquid latex, so it's like milk, basically. But when you're adding in the flour, it makes it thicker, and you're able to make it so that it's kind of like porridge or oatmeal or whatever, like it will make it loopy. Yeah, basically. And when you put it down, what I tend to do is it will be still kind of chunky in certain areas. So if you have, say, a bowl with your mixture, and if you have another bowl with just your latex, I tend to, like, at the end, it makes it really smooth if you just go over it with your liquid latex with no mixture in it. If you put that on top of your mixture of your latex and flour, it tends to make it really smooth, and like it will, the edges will be great in the end. But Yeah, I can't believe you've never heard of that.
No, it's just something weird concoction that I've never
Yeah, I
I've heard
know.
of late. Obviously, I've worked a lot with latex, of course, because what
Yeah.
effects person hasn't?
Mm-hmm.
But I just never heard of that. That's interesting. That's a cool new
Try
trick.
it. It's handy,
Uh,
yeah.
so please tell the people watching and about more about your creative process, and especially since you work more with out of the kit. Like I feel like
Yeah,
out of the kit is definitely a tough line because
sure.
at least with prosthetics and stuff, you have more of a refined look. You're really you're sculpting it as you're working on the actor. So please tell us more about your creative mind and how you go through. Okay, how am I going to tackle this makeup? How am I going to do this?
Yeah. Yeah. So I've been put in that spot. If somebody gives me, say, a look to do, if I was working on a music video or on, say, a short film, if I was given a certain look, say, like if, I mean, it does depend. Sometimes I will say build up, as I said, I will get like a life cast and I will build up from it. And then I would apply it onto, say, the actor or actress, using, spirit gum. If so, that's like kind of like the main thing to use, and it tends to never come off my face.
Oh
And
yeah, I remember hating spirit gum. That's why I'm glad to have progressed on to Prozaid.
I know. I've used that was actually the first thing that I used was Prozaid. And then when I ran it, that I was like, oh, I'm gonna try spirit gum, and now it never comes off anything. But yeah, it does depend. Sometimes I will, work off the actor actress's face. But I'll have an idea set out, and sometimes what I'll do is I'll make sketches of it first off. So I'll know, like where it's going, or the process of it, as in I'll have it there in front of me before I actually do it. And then, as I said, it does depend. I could pre-make it and then stick it on, and then obviously work around it, adding in the different colors and trying to get it to their skin tone. Or I will work just straight off their face. It does depend on, how long you want to have it on for, especially, and what the end look is going to be like, really.
Yeah. Speaking of colors, go into your process on matching to the skin tone, because I feel like that is one of the toughest things when you're starting out.
For sure.
I know I had trouble with it when I started out. I see a lot of people who've done makeup stuff that have trouble with it too. So please go into that. How do you go through the process of painting? Because everybody nerds out about the forms and the sculptures and stuff. Let's talk about painting.
I know. Honestly, I still struggle with it, like trying to get the skin tones down and everything. But I tend to work a lot with, say, the darker colors and trying to like build on top of it. It's all about building with me, really. And depending, like, if the piece, like with the prosthetics that I make, when the latex dries, it tends to go into a type of brownie type color. So with that, like, I'd end up putting a first like base layer over it that would be like a lighter color, and then obviously trying to make the outer edges of it darker. It's so hard to do because I'm getting there with it, but I still haven't gotten to the stage where I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
But I'm slowly getting there. It would be like I'm still experimenting with it every day and trying to, because with it in the beginning, I know like everyone covers it up with the blood or the gore. But I did learn a few things from Greg in London when I met him there. And it was mainly that, like, just blending it out, as in where if you have irritation on the skin, that's like one of my main things. I love doing that, like, blending it out with irritation around the edges and all, but not covering it up and not making it. It's all like about the blending, really.
Yeah. So, well, we are almost to our halfway moment, so I gotta give a shout out and let's say hi to the people that are watching us live.
Yeah, for sure.
We got my couple of people watching. Of course, there's one of my buddies, Kevin Ralston. How you doing, Kevin?
Hi, Kevin.
Having a good day. Then we got my friend from over in Greece, Eleni. How you doing? Hope you're having a good day too. All right. Well, that's all who are watching live. And for those who aren't watching live, be sure to tune in next time. I'm trying to get somebody in for next week. So I got somebody, but we're still trying to talk if he can do it. So if you tune in next week, we're going to be doing this show again at 7 o'clock on Thursday. And if you chat in the little chat box, you'll get a shout out during the show. So moving right along. So I do believe you have a YouTube show, right?
Ooh, I do.
So tell us what drove you to start your own YouTube channel with the whole makeup and teaching people, I guess, on how to do the makeup the way you do it.
So I mean, I've always wanted to do YouTube. Like growing up, I mean, you know, I'd always watch tutorials and stuff like that, even on just beauty makeup, really. But when I started out my Instagram, as in like SFX Goes Girl, my main Instagram, like where I started posting all of my makeup, I got a lot of responses on there, and with people asking me like, how did you do it? What materials were you using? How did you do this or that? So certain people were saying, oh, could you do a YouTube video on it just to like, you know, just for this certain look or this one? I'd get like a load of messages off of them. So I was like, in the beginning, I was kind of hesitant because I mean,
Right.
in Ireland, there's only like, I don't know, a handful of YouTubers that I know that do special effects makeup anyway. So I was kind of like, oh, I don't know if I'll do that now, but I did it in the end. And I mean, they kind of drove me. Like my followers on Instagram were the ones I was like, okay, I'm going to teach you how to do this one or that one. So just even for them, even like if it was 5 people who wanted to know how to do it, I only put that up there for them. And in the end, it kind of got a better response. So and I haven't really posted that much lately, but I'm planning on getting a lot more up this year, especially at the end of this year. There should be a lot more going up there.
Right. I remember actually the first one I watched from you was that Nancy thing you did.
Yeah, the Nancy tutorial.
I could never imagine doing that because obviously you already have a better skill at doing beauty stuff. I remember I actually had some ladies saying, "Oh, you need to get into the beauty side." No, I don't want to do beauty. I want to just stick to my monsters. But I have a respect for anybody that can do that. I thought you looked pretty close.
My mom always wanted me to do like beauty makeup growing up, but then I was kind of like, I want to make monsters.
Oh, come on, so, Rachel, do the make people pretty. Oh, I want to make people look ugly.
She'd always say that. She'd be like, go on a cruise ship and do their makeup on there, and oh, you know, you'll have fun. But no, I'm gonna stick to my blood and gore.
Right? That's where the real money is at.
Yeah, exactly.
So, speaking of all the blood and the gore and the monsters, what are some of your favorite creatures to make, and what would be a dream creature that you haven't done yet but you want to do?
Ooh.
I mean, good question.
I have a few mains that like I always tend to work on that I love doing. Like the creatures wise, I always love my zombies. Like I love my zombies. They're my main thing. I mean, that I would.
Well, you can never have enough zombies, right?
Exactly. So I mean, and there's so much to do with them. But I haven't. I mean, I'm still working on them. But I'd still like to get to that point where I'm like, yes, that is my zombie. I made that one. You know what I mean?
That's a tough part about zombies, right? Because even though there is a fact you can do so much with them, the fact that you have to try to still make them a character and stand out.
Exactly, and you need to make them one that people are going to remember. Like there's certain zombies out there that if you show someone, they're like, oh yeah, that's that movie, and that's this one from The Walking Dead, or you know, like to make one that stands out. That's like my goal to do that.
Your goal is to make the next Tar Man.
Basically.
Zombie.
Exactly. So I mean that's kind of like that's the aim for that. And as well as that, like I love to do, as I'm working out of the kit, I love to do like possessed looks mainly because there's so many different ways and different, you know, stages that you're able to go through. I like to do the whole process of it basically, you know, like starting out with the whole, you know, oh, they look really tired, and then making it so that there'll be like, you know, scratches on their face, and then the whole demonic look basically.
Get that little veiny look going, that nasty.
Yeah, I love veiny thing. Yeah.
Have you ever done work with contacts, like putting contacts on the people that you're putting in your makeup?
Yeah, I've done contacts now for, I mean, I've only recently done it. There last year when we went to a few conventions, I started to put in contacts and stuff. Like I hadn't worn them before. I've only worn them like 3 times maybe. I still need to get them because around Ireland there's not many places that will do them. Like they have the ordinary contacts, but I mean to get the ones like even the scleral lenses and stuff, they're so expensive. But I mean,
that you also have to know what you're doing because you can damage people's eyes.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's one thing.
My mother actually makes contact lenses, so I'm okay.
Yeah, well, that's good. Also, disclaimer to anybody out there that's wanting to do this sort of stuff: be careful and be sure you know what you're doing.
Please be careful.
Don't be one of those idiots that when you're life casting somebody, put a plate of cardboard around the person's face and pour plaster of Paris on their face. Don't be that idiot.
No, please don't. And please Vaseline. Use Vaseline.
Exactly.
Yes, and especially another thing I've seen a lot over Halloween, be careful if they're using cans that they'll like cut in half and stick onto themselves, or like using scissors that they'll try and stick onto themselves as well. Because a lot of people, they don't use a barrier
Yeah.
and they'll just stick it onto their skin, and like that could cut yourself. You could get seriously injured. Please just be careful.
Let's just say to all the people who are watching that want to do this, don't put sharp metal stuff on you. Don't do it. It's not worth it.
Yeah, exactly. Just if you're starting out, just leave that for like a bit down
there. If you're gonna do something, do a plastic pop bottle and jam it in your head.
Yes.
Make yourself a Coca-Cola unicorn.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. I'm gonna try that.
There, now everybody follow up on Rachel. She makes herself into a Coca-Cola unicorn.
Yeah. Wait.
Or no Coke, Pepsi.
Oh, okay.
We are looking for a sponsorship for one of those guys.
We swear we're not.
Hey, speak for yourself. But you answered what creatures you do like to do. What are some that you would like to do?
That I would like to do.
Yeah, that you haven't done. If you were like given X amount of money to do whatever makeup you want to do.
Yeah. I mean,
and infinite time to do it.
Yeah. What I would like to do, because seeing as I haven't worked a lot with it either. I mean, it would probably be something along the lines of like a werewolf, because with that there's a lot, the structure of it and everything, it takes a lot. And as well as that, the hair, I haven't worked a lot with hair. So if I had like, the time and the money to do that, that was one of the things that I would love to do.
Oh yeah, hair is a tough thing from what I learned, especially if you're punching it. You gotta, to all those who are wanting to be makeup artists out there watching, you gotta be sure if you're doing hair work, whether it's a lace wig or punching, be sure, don't ever rush it unless you're sure it's gonna be far away from camera. You gotta make sure every little follicle looks good.
And that's the thing, like I would love to do that someday though, even just to try it. I mean, because I haven't tried that just as of yet, but it's up there. That's what I want to do. Like especially a werewolf would be one of my favorites.
More than zombies, the world needs more werewolves. In a world full of zombies, be a werewolf.
True.
Yeah. So we're drawing to a close. So please, even though you're not too far into this makeup craziness that we find ourselves in, what were some bits of advice that you would give your fellow beginners and people that are novices and stuff? What would you tell them about this profession?
Well, what I would have to say, I mean, because me personally, like I'm in Ireland, I'm in the middle of nowhere. And like, I mean, if you are starting out on this, if you just work on it, keep at it. I've been at this now 3 years. Obviously, I'm only slowly getting there. Don't give up on it, because I've had those times where I'm like, I'm in Ireland, this is never going to happen. But now, like, I'm talking to you all the way in America. Like, I never even thought that this would happen. So if you just keep at it and don't ever think that, oh, that person's better. Don't compare to other people. Just focus on, what you love. If you have a passion for it, keep at it. And I mean, as I said, I've been at this 3 years. I'm still working out with the kit. I'm slowly getting there. I'm finally doing, live casts and stuff. And, people are starting to recognize my work. Like I have been stopped a few times saying, just people will start to appreciate it after a while. And you never know, like you could be getting people into it. Like they could look up to your work then eventually. So just keep at it. Don't give up, especially if you're even living in the middle of a field like me. Just keep at it. Honestly, it doesn't really matter where you are. If you have a passion for it, just keep at it. And you'll
I love the fact that you say, especially the part of like you're slowly getting there, and the fact that take your time. Like I know a lot of people, myself included, when they're starting out, they're under the impression that you got to be able to do this really quickly because of shows like it's been stigmatized of shows like Face Off and seeing well-established sculptors and makeup artists in the field that can do these stuff really quick, and just take your time with it. To all those that are watching, so please tell the people at home, where can they find you? Where can they find you to see your work and all the great, fantastic makeups that you do?
Well, thank you. And you can find me at SFX Ghost Girl. So that's SFX GHOSTGIRL. So it's kind of like the name that I came up with in the beginning. But my YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and all that is on there. If not, if you can't find me on there, it'll be under Rachael Croke. So that's RachaelCroke. And you should find me on
Which
all
is also in the title of the video for those schmucks that can't. How do I spell Rachael Croke?
Most people spell my
don't know by now. Yeah, I can't help you.
It's not Rachel, Rachael, guys. That's right there.
Exactly. Well, it's been a wonderful, what has it been, about 20-ish minutes? Wow. That show went by real quick.
It has. But that was great. Thank you so much for having me. Seriously, I really appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate you coming on. For those of you that are watching, please check out Rachel's stuff. She would really appreciate it and maybe harass her into getting more YouTube videos out there. The world needs more Rachael videos.
I'll eventually have them up, I promise.
Yeah.
I promise.
Yeah, we'll get down on that and we'll crack the whip and be like, get on it! Right now.
I will.
And if you guys liked this video, feel free to like and comment below. Tell us what you think. I'm really excited to hear what you think. This is the first episode, so we're just starting to get this out.
And also, keep an eye out for more episodes, guys, because seriously, they're coming.
Yeah, we actually have one lined up. I'm talking to a guy who I actually went to school with in the Stan Winston School. So he's going to be a great person to talk to. He knows a lot about that computer-y stuff. With whatchamacallit and the buttons and the stuff.
The buttons and the stuff and things.
Yeah, the button and stuff. So also feel free to subscribe and hit the bell notification. That way you'll be notified every time we get a new video up soon. So I hope everybody has a fantastic day and tune in for the next episode of Blood, Sweat, and Makeup Effects.